All right, all right, all right. Okay. Good morning, pirates. Still a little too quiet. Good morning, pirates. All right. Hopefully everyone's having a very nice morning. We've got a much more. Anybody here who was at the last outreach that we went to about 2-3 weeks ago? Raise your hands. All right. So some of you guys know what's the deal with these outreaches, right? It's very important that you pay attention because you get what? Get prizes. Very important. But first of all, I want to introduce myself to everybody. All right, guys? Undivided attention. Come on, let's go. All right, my name is Austin Fortuno. I am the attaché to the Attorney General of Guam. Is anybody familiar with who the Attorney General is? No? Maybe? Yes? Well, you're going to hear from him. Anybody familiar with what attorneys do? No? Yes? Maybe? Anybody want to become an attorney? It pays good money. Yeah. Anyways, you're all middle schoolers. I think we have a good amount of the school here today, but I want to get a gauge of the ages that are in the room. Who are the sixth graders in the room? Raise your hand. Sixth grade. You guys are just fresh out of elementary school. It's almost Christmas break, right? How are you guys enjoying middle school so far? It's horrible? No, middle school's supposed to be fun. Okay, who are the seventh graders in the room? Raise your hand. Oh, you guys are right in the middle, right? You guys are halfway there, almost halfway there. All right, okay. Now, who are our eighth graders in the room? Raise your hand. Oh, there you go. We got a good chunk of them. You guys are the almost high schoolers, right? Yes. Okay, all right, guys. So we got 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in the room. I walked into that, 6, 7, I know. Anyways, we got a good amount of students in the room. We want to kick things off. So let's go ahead and introduce who's joining us today. We have our Deputy Attorney General, Alberto Galloso. Let's give him a round of applause. We have, of course, right, a very big VIP. We have the Attorney General of Guam, Douglas Moylan. Let's give him a round of applause. And again, for those who were at our last outreach, we have a very special guest. Point your direction at the door. We have Eric the Eagle joining us. All right. Thank you, Eric. All right, guys. You'll have your chance. You'll have your chance. Okay, so we're all excited. We all want to meet Eric, but very important, guys. We're going to talk to you guys about some very important things. The Attorney General is going to talk to you guys about some very important things, so it's very important that you pay attention. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome for his opening remarks, the Attorney General of Guam, Douglas Moylan. Let's give him a round of applause.
Okay. Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas. So some of you guys, girls and boys, you may have been here a few weeks ago when my team came up. So if you guys did come here on our earlier presentation, feel free to raise your hands, participate. This time that we're together here is to help you guys understand what we do for you as your taxpayer-paid government officials, okay? Your parents are taxpayers. You guys are going to be taxpayers. Understand that age is very important in order to live in the United States. Your rights, if you guys are taking social studies in some of the classes, your rights are normally associated with your citizenship and your age, okay, in the United States of America, and that is what Guam is part of. What are we? Are we a state? Are we a country? What are we? You got it right there. We are a United States territory, okay? So we are lawyers. Mr. Galloso and I are lawyers, and I have my support staff here. As lawyers, we interpret the law. We help our clients understand the law. We go before the courts. How many branches of government are there? 3. Exactly, 3 branches of government. and the Attorney General's office is in the executive branch, okay? But we have the judicial branch, which are the judges in those black robes that basically make decisions for you guys if you get into trouble or if you need the help of the government, right? Those sorts of things. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today, and as the Attorney General, I am elected by your parents, okay? That's the first thing that you should understand. I am an attorney. In order to be the Attorney General, you have to be an attorney to qualify. And then, does anybody know how long I'm the Attorney General? Does anybody know how long the governor is the governor? 4 years, okay? So the Attorney General is the Attorney General elected by your parents for 4 years. So I talked about your ages. Is there anyone that's 16 years old or older here? I see half hands there. Are you 16 or not? Raise your hands if you're 16. Okay, so I've got a 16. Are you sure? Okay. Okay, so 16 years old, we're going to talk, our first subject's going to be about touching, okay? What I want you always to remember here is the word that you need to remember after our conversation that we have is to respect one another. If you remember anything from our conversation, it's to respect one another. You're going to do well in school, you're going to do well at home, you're going to do well with your friends, and you're going to do well in life. And it's going to follow you your entire life, okay? Respect. So your teachers asked me to talk to you about Guam's laws in relation to touching one another. Boys touching girls, girls touching boys, boys touching other boys, and girls touching other girls. Okay? That's the world we live in, and you guys need to understand these are very, very serious things. Okay? What is that the judges can do to you? What is the worst thing a judge can do to you? Charge you as an adult. That's in that ballpark there. But what is it that as citizens of the United States, what? Prison. And touching can get you put in prison for the rest of your life once you hit 16 years old. Okay? Do you touch somebody when you respect them? When they don't want to be touched, you can't do it. Okay? You shouldn't do it because you can get into trouble where well, first of all, the police, right? The police will come up on you and put you in what? Put you in one of these. You never want to be put in one of these because you probably aren't going to get out without a key. So, the idea for criminal sexual conduct, what we call on Guam, is called criminal sexual conduct. That means that when you improperly touch somebody, like in your private parts and stuff, you can get into trouble and you can get put in prison. And for you guys, you can get put in prison. And what do they call your prison? Right. It's called the Department of Youth Affairs prison. It's the kids' prison, but it's just like the regular prison. You don't want to be there. They have bars. You can't leave. And if you get put there, you can't come to this school because they have a separate school at DYA. You lose your rights. Remember that thing I was talking about with rights? You lose your rights. So for boys are usually the aggressors in life and in nature. Males, don't touch women. You understand that, all you boys out there? And especially at your age, you shouldn't be thinking about sex. You shouldn't be thinking about touching girls. You should understand it, learn it from your teachers, but don't screw around, okay? So the boys, don't touch the girls because you will get into trouble. There will be a police officer in their cop car coming here. They will put you in the back of it. They'll put you in the handcuffs, and that's going to be the start of a very bad story for you, okay? Girls, too, respect the boys and respect other girls. You know, girls, you got to be careful about your reputations, right? That's very big for girls, is reputation. You don't want the boys telling the truth about how you're touching boys and doing stuff like that. That's what criminal sexual conduct is, okay? Criminal sexual conduct is when you touch somebody that doesn't want to be touched. But remember, because of your ages, there is no proper touching. You're not supposed to be making out in the bathroom when both the boy and the girl are okay with that. That'll get you into the same amount of trouble, both of you, okay? You should be focusing on grades. You should be focusing upon enjoying the sports. This can be one of your best times of your life. I still remember when I was 8th grade, 7th grade, Bishop Baumgartner. You know, this is the time that you make your friends, you learn, you get into the National Junior Honor Society, you get into sports, you excel, right? You're up here. You don't want to be down there. Does anyone have any specific questions in terms of what I'm talking about? I don't want to get too explicit with you because you'll be learning that in your PE class or your classes on what is proper touching, what is improper touching. But for boys, you touch any part of a girl, our code, our laws are structured around putting you in jail, okay? So even touching the buttocks can get you, the police will come down and they'll take you and put you in. That doesn't mean for girls that you guys can just go and screw around with the boys either, okay? The girls have to respect the boys as much as the boys need to respect the girls. And for any of you that are goofing around with other boys and other girls, just don't do it, okay? Are there any particular questions that you guys have? Criminal sexual conduct is right under murder in terms of our criminal code, okay? When you guys see in the newspaper somebody getting charged with criminal sexual conduct, other jurisdictions, they call it rape. It's a very serious crime. You can get put in jail for the rest of your life. For your purposes, you can get put at DYA until you can even turn, I think 24 or 25. The court can keep you in DYA prison, okay? But our laws are structured to help you. This is the age where you make some mistakes, and we try to help you as adults so that you don't make the bigger mistakes once you hit 16 and 18. Anybody know what 18 means for people? Adult. That's that key word, boys and girls. Once you hit an adult, there's no question you're going to the Department of Corrections. You know where that is? Manilao. And by the way, DYA is in Manilao too. So these are the things that you want to avoid. Don't perform at a low level. Always aspire to be at the highest levels. Listen to your parents. Respect one another. Be careful in life on what you do. Listen to the teachers. Get good grades. You know, this is the stuff that your parents hopefully are explaining to you. Okay? The people that are successful in life learn, and that's what level you guys are at. You're learning, okay? Anyone have any particular questions on abuse, physical abuse, criminal sexual conduct? Okay, now remember, in the law, you have the perpetrator and then you have the victim, okay? So the victim is the person who's being touched and does not want you touching them. Okay? That's called the victim. That's the person that calls the police, that goes to the principal, that tells the teacher, and then they have the perpetrator. And if you get charged with any of the matters, it's usually you become a defendant. Okay? And in the crimes, they call it a criminal defendant. Do we have a billboard? Oh, here. Can we bring that up here? So have any of you guys seen this billboard? Right, so we put it up a few months ago. These are people that were adults, broke the law, and some of them committed criminal sexual conduct, okay? And what happened was the Attorney General's office got the police report from the police that wrote it up, a story of what happened, and then we took it before your parents. They call it a grand jury, and then your parents said, this person appears to have done wrong, take them to trial. Who makes the decision in a trial on whether a person committed a crime? Jury. Very good. So a jury is the one that your parents and what you guys will eventually be will be sitting on a jury. Can be a number of 6 for misdemeanors, or if it's a serious crime, 12. 12 of you people will be sitting in the judgment over whether or not the accused, the defendant, committed a crime. You guys can still get accused of crimes, okay? Just because you're minors doesn't mean that you can't be committing a crime. It's just the consequences will be different, okay? Family court is where you would go. There's still a judge over there, and they're still going to pass judgment over you on whether you should be at DYA, whether you should be with your parents on house arrest, whether you should be allowed to go to school, things like that, okay? Because one of the things when you do criminal sexual conduct is what? You have a victim, right? So if you get taken to family court at your ages, the judge is going to say, well, we don't want you around the victim anymore. Okay, and what could that mean? That could mean the judge says, you can't go to that school anymore because you hurt that girl. Or boys, you hurt another boy, or whatever the case is. We're just talking about criminal sexual conduct, which is improper touching. Okay? You violate somebody. You guys know what that means, right? Unwanted touching. Understand that? Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? Good. Okay.
Hello. All right. Thank you, Attorney General. Let's give him a round of applause there. Okay. So you guys don't have questions for the AG on this topic, right? Who are the ones who were here at the last outreach again? You guys know how this works, right? So I have questions for you guys. And if you guys get my question right, Eric has a prize for you guys. Eric, why don't you go ahead and show them what you have for our pirates. Yes, you get a little Eric plushie. A little mini Eric. If you answer the question correctly. Okay? How many? We'll see. But it's very important that you're paying attention because I'm going to ask 2 questions on this topic. All right? I'll start over here on this side. Okay? All you need to do is raise your hand. Okay? I'm going to call on you. You're going to introduce yourself to everybody. And then you're going to tell us the answer. Okay, so first question. Real easy. What is the legal term? Oh, you already have your hand over there. What is the legal term on Guam for the crime when one commits sexual abuse like rape or unwanted touching? The AG talked about, okay, the hands are all the way up back there. So I'm going to go all the way back there. Sorry, I think she got it first. Okay, man. Let's see if you get it right, okay? You want me to say the question again? Okay. Question is, what is the legal term for the crime when one commits sexual abuse like rape or unwanted touching?
Criminal sexual conduct.
Is it criminal sexual conduct? Yes, let's give him a round of applause. All right. Yes, Eric has a prize for you. Okay? Oh, let me get out of the way there. All right, great job. Okay, I got more questions for you guys. Maybe we'll go over here. Okay, over here, guys. Got another question. So we know what criminal sexual conduct is. The AG mentioned, right? It's a serious crime. It's just below homicide. My question is criminal sexual conduct when involving a minor victim, right? You're all minors in here. Is it a felony or a misdemeanor? You wanna, okay, who wanna try it? No one from this side? I'm gonna go to a different row. Okay. Okay, there's one over there. All right. Okay. You wanna take a shot at it? Okay, all right. You want me to say the question again? All right, I'm gonna say the question again, right? Is CSC, is criminal sexual conduct when involving a minor victim a felony or a misdemeanor?
A felony.
Is it a felony? No, it's a felony, guys. It's correct. It's a more serious crime. Yes. All right, guys. All right. Anybody familiar with the word felony or misdemeanor? can we have the Attorney General tell us what is a felony and what is a misdemeanor? All right, guys, pay attention.
A felony is where you could be punished for more than a year in jail. That's how the lawyers, that's how the judges, that's how the senators define what a felony is. A misdemeanor is where you can spend up to a year in jail, okay? It goes by the seriousness of the offense, your conduct. So, you don't want to be charged with any crime. That's the basic rule that you should leave this gathering. But if you do that touching that I'm talking about, that can get you, most of the touching that I talked about are felonies, okay? And one more thing I wanted to say, I think you guys are okay at this level right now. What is the byproduct of sex? What? It's not a condom. What is the byproduct of sex? Can't hear you. What? I'm sorry, what did you say? Baby. That is exactly what the byproduct of sex is. Are any of you guys employed right now? Do any of you guys have a job? He bush cuts. I was bush cutting at my age where you guys were. That is, you will not have enough money to pay for that child when that birth occurs. Everything that you guys have, including your education, will be messed up. You bring a child into this world, you are not equipped emotionally, physically, mentally. But girls, you can have children. So at your ages, so you do not want to do that, and you bring disrespect to your family and to yourselves. You will spend the rest of your high school years people whispering about you. If you do anything, you don't want to embarrass your family, your parents, and especially yourselves. And you do not want to bring another life into this world if you can't take care of that child. Okay? So let's just all follow the rules, respect one another, and wait until it's the proper time, and that's after you're 18. Okay. Austin?
I think we have also Attorney Gayoso who wants to give a few words to you guys. Let's give him a round of applause.
Anyway, I want to thank you all for coming here today, even though it's compulsory, because you should attend school and you should respect your teachers. They do it's a hard job trying to teach you, trying to keep you on the straight and narrow. And that's what the Attorney General tries to do more broadly with regards to the society that we live in. So what I want to talk to you about is really fundamentally interpersonal relationships. Who can tell me what that means? Yeah. It's how you relate to other people, right? So do you relate the same to your friend as you do to your mother or to your father? No, right? Do you relate the same way to, to your clergy or to a baseball team, perhaps a member of a baseball team that's a co-player? Pardon me? Clergy means if you're faithful and you go to church or you go to a synagogue or a mosque or any, well then it would be your priest or maybe your minister, right? That kind of thing. So it's important how you relate to others, right? And there are certain rules that are unwritten, and some of them are written. Now, the unwritten ones are, who can tell me how you should deal with everyone, really, that you come in contact with initially? You're kind, right? Say good morning, right? You try to be kind, you try to be pleasant, you convey whatever you want, and then they respond in kind, right? And that's part of interpersonal relationships. Now, you might be wondering, what is this man talking about, right? Well, I'm getting to it. And it has to do with chapter 25 of our code. Because while there are unwritten rules with regards to how we conduct ourselves with other people, there are rules that are written. And they're passed by the legislature, which is over there in Agueda, and they are laws. And these laws must be respected, and if they're not respected, guess what? As the Attorney General indicated, you'll end up in either in jail or in prison for your conduct. So it's really important to abide by those rules, because these are rules that really we've all agreed to. Now you might be saying, well, I had no say in it, but you kind of did, because we have voters, and they vote for the legislators, and the legislators pass laws that are reached by consensus, and those become the laws that we abide by. And that's the conduct, those are the rules of conduct on how we deal with other people. Now, chapter 25 has to do with sexual offenses. And by the way, to get back, here's a little history lesson, but you might be wondering, well, how is it that government is formed and that kind of thing? Well, a long time ago, when they were writing the U.S. Constitution, they were heavily influenced by John Locke, who was an English philosopher from the 17th century, and he proposed something which was called the social contract theory of government, which means what? That the people, you guys, your parents, us, we agree to give up a little bit of our liberty to the government in exchange for what? For rules that will protect our life, liberty, and property, right? Because we can't have a chaotic, you can't build anything on chaos. There has to be a foundation, a stability, a security, right? Upon which you can build upon. So that's an agreement between the people, and that's why the Attorney General is very, very, focused on protecting the rights of the life, liberty, and property of the people of Guam. All right? So that's something that's really important. And his role is to enforce those laws. So the police, by the way, we have some representatives here. Let's give it up for them, right? They're on the front lines. Yeah. They're on the front lines. They're on the front lines of this, of crimes being committed, and then it gets sent to the Attorney General, who then prosecutes them and goes before a jury and a judge, and then you're found guilty or not guilty, and then there's a penalty that goes along with that. Now, chapter 25 has to do with sexual offenses, and there's several of them in there, but the one thing I want to leave you with is that they all have, and they're different degrees of severity, right? Some are more serious. They're all serious. But some of them, the penalty is higher because of the certain conduct that happened within that offense. But the thing that I want to leave you with is consent, because that's really critical. If someone tells you no, respect it, because no means no. It doesn't mean maybe. It means no. And that's very present. Consent means that you are presently consenting to the other person doing whatever with you, right? And it can't be based on maybe, let's say you're going out and you're on a date, and you're with your girl, and you're a guy, and you kiss her, and she consents to that. And then you go on a second date. If she doesn't consent then, you can't go on the consent the first time around. Right? It has to be present. It has to be at the time. And that's really important to keep in mind, right? Because that's crucial. That's a crucial element of all these sexual offenses. So I'm told that I've got to wrap up. Yeah, of course. Go ahead. That is right.
Okay.
So anyway, that's all I got for you. I appreciate your time and for sitting here patiently. And I'm turning it over to the Attorney General.
So this is a bonus question for you. Based on what your teacher said, you're 14 years old, and this consent, we're just talking about a kiss, right? But what if the 14-year-old girl says, I want to have sex? Can she consent to that? Cannot consent to sex. You guys don't have the right to allow that to happen. Girls, boys, you cannot consent to sex. You got that? You guys are too young for that. Just get it out of your mind. Okay, so what does a police officer look like on Guam? Wears blue. What else has a gun? Has a badge. So you guys get it, right? You know what the police officers look like. Do you know what the juvenile police officers look like? What they wear? Just because a police officer doesn't need to wear a uniform, a police officer can be in different forms, okay? The people of Guam made me a police officer as a chief law enforcement officer, okay? I am a police officer. They call it a peace officer, okay? You got your guys on the patrol cars in their blue uniforms with their firearms. Behind me, all these gentlemen in white polo shirts are police officers. So, Mr. Salisbury, this is what, at the minimum, if you can't respect somebody, you better be fearful of the police officers. Criminals fear police. Law-abiding people respect the police because they mean safety. You understand that? Safety for good people, you want the police around, you want to see the police vehicles, that's the stuff. One of the things that a police officer has is a firearm. This commands respect because to be shot is the difference between life and death. The ultimate thing the government can take is your life. In a situation where an officer needs to pull the firearm, that is what it means. This is the area that we're talking about, boys and girls, that when the police officer comes and you run from them, you think they're just going to let you go? You're lucky they're going to use a taser. So, you know, the whole idea is that you don't want to be where I'm talking about now. You want this to be the last thing that you're thinking about in middle school, okay? Again, you want to get good grades, you want to go to the sports, you want to go to movies, you want to do everything that kids in your age group do. You guys, and I get it, you guys will have crushes and you'll like the boys and the boys will like the girls, but there's an appropriate behavior and a line that you cannot cross. Okay, so the second topic that your teachers wanted us to talk about is, what's this? Meth. And in the general category, it's illegal substances that our senators have told us you cannot take certain drugs. Is alcohol a drug? It is a drug. That's a very good response. Meth is one of the several drugs that are illegal on Guam and throughout the United States, okay? Meth comes in crystal form and in powder, okay? Now that, can we get the billboard here? Some of those people, the faces that you see here, and I think we have 50, that were tried and found guilty by a jury, your parents. Many of these people ruined their lives because they took meth. That drug over there, many of these people, in addition to their crimes, they committed crimes because they were on drugs, and first, they didn't think straight because the drugs affected their ability to think. Second, all they knew is they wanted more meth, so they went to your parents, they went to your homes, they took your bike, they took your property at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what meth does. It turns people into animals. They think like animals. I want my drug, you have something I want, I will take it from you. Like an animal, a dog coming up to you and biting you, things like that. That is what that drug does to you. Don't any of you think that you're more powerful than this drug. I'm not even more powerful than this drug. You start taking it, and your brain will start to change. It will start saying that you get me that drug, and you do everything possible to get me that drug. In 2024, did any of you hear that Korean tourist that died? Was shot. You heard it, right? The Korean tourist was shot. You know what he was doing? He was protecting his wife. He was walking, and he was a nuclear physicist. You guys know what nuclear is? He was the top educated person from Korea. He did a lifetime of service to the Korean people. His family gave him a ticket to come to Guam to celebrate his retirement. And a meth addict, one of our people that was addicted to meth, went up to him and his wife when they were in Tumon, had a gun, and said, "Give me the money." The husband was protecting his wife and struggled with the meth addict and was shot. He lived about 7 hours before he died, shot in the stomach. The governor called me up. Didn't want the body to be cut up until the family from Korea came in. That is the serious consequences of what that drug is doing to our people. Okay? Now remember, just taking the drug starts an immediate effect on your brain. You become that you'll do anything, you'll steal, you'll take things in order to get the money to buy more meth. That is the process that goes on. But what's more important to each one of you is it starts the body's death pattern. It will start to destroy every organ in your body. What's the first organ that it affects? The brain. That addiction, it starts transforming your brain. What is the most important organ that it goes after right after the brain? Very good. It's the heart. Can you guys replace your hearts? When your heart gets damaged, can you fix it and make it like it was new again? Through your entire life, your heart will begin to stop losing the capacity that it had from your age. You guys are at the best conditions of your lives. You protect yourselves from killing yourself with taking substances. Any drug that the government tells you is illegal, that's the first thing you shouldn't be doing, including marijuana. Okay? What happens to your body? How do you start looking when you start taking meth? Dopey. Who knows what dopey means? No, dopey doesn't mean ugly. Teeth. You start losing your teeth. Any of you guys can grow back your teeth? No. You only had one set and you lost it when you were about up to 4 years old, I think. So you're on your permanent set of teeth. But what does that drug do to it? It's affecting the body. Your teeth start falling out. And for all you girls out there, you guys like to smile at the boys without teeth? So, it'll have, and that's the first sign that your body is telling you, stop doing this to me because you're going to end up dead. That is the consequence of meth and taking too much of it, and especially when the drug dealers mix it with, what do they call that? Starts with an F? Fentanyl. Once they mix it with fentanyl, these guys don't know what they're doing. They put too much of that fentanyl in it, and what happens? Almost immediate death, probably within 10 minutes. You take too much of that fentanyl, you'll be dead in 10 minutes. Literally. Do you know what they're doing in the States? They're having, those Coke machines? They're putting Narcan in it, in the schools, so that if one of the students starts to have a fentanyl reaction, they can hit them with they call it Narcan. That's to save their life, okay? So, all those people that we're putting in jail right now, what's happening to the dealer, the one that's selling the drugs, when we're putting everybody in jail? I'm sorry? Losing customers, exactly. It's a business, and guess who's their target market? It's everybody, and it's all of you especially, because what do drug dealers want? They want money, and they want customers. To get the money, they need customers, okay? So you all have to be careful, because as we put these people in jail, the drug dealers still have their drugs. They still want to sell it, and guess who they want to sell it to? It's you. And are they going to charge you? No. They're not going to charge you initially. If you see any of your friends with these type of substances, I don't care if they're bringing flour and joking about it, you need to turn them in to the principal and other people, because this is going to kill you or kill your friend, these substances. And they're going to give it to you for free, hoping that you become addicted to it. When you become addicted to it, then they have a new customer that's going to go get whatever money they can get, steal from your parents in order to sustain their addiction. Now, this is sensitive what I'm going to say, and you need to be aware of it because we're aware of it in the Attorney General's office. If you have a family member, if you have a mother, a father, a guardian, uncle or aunt that you're taking care of you or that you're around, and you know that they're on drugs, meth, what should you do? They need help. It's going to be very hard to tell a meth addict to stop. You need to report them to other family members and get them the help they need. And if it requires calling the police, you may be the ones that save your parents' life. We have many people, many kids in family court where they get taken away by CPS from their parents. And they get put in a foster home. You know all those military that are coming in? A lot of them are foster parents. They want to give back to the community, so they put their names in at public health and says that if you have any kids that need to be taken care of, they'll take care of them. I've been an attorney when the parents have their kids taken from them. They get put into a treatment program, drug treatment, meth treatment. Many parents, they never get fixed. After a year and a half, they're still going before the judge, telling the judge that they're trying to stop, testing positive every month when they go to probation to get checked. This is a drug that has a very low probability that you're going to get it out of your system and get it out of your life.
That drug has been around since 1990. We are now 35 years later and it's still running rampant on our island. That's how bad it is.
Excellent. And boys and girls, this is a bonus question. Who developed methamphetamine? Which country developed it? Where? What? No. Okay. See, that's what I knew about it until I started to research it. That drug was called Prevatin. It was back in the 1940s. The Germans created it for their soldiers. Why did they do it for their soldiers? Huh? Because they can have energy, and what is that you listen to the government always trying to do? Create a super soldier. That's why they're creating all these drones, and they're trying to make it so that you can win, right? The Germans in World War II created methamphetamine to give to their soldiers, so they became super soldiers, so when they got shot, they could still be moving, that they could be functioning more than the regular workday. That's what meth does to you. It makes you stay up for 2 days and only rest for 1. But what did the Germans find out? They were killing their soldiers and making them meth addicts. The Germans are probably one of the best countries in the world to develop technology, and they realized that they let the monster out of the box when they did that. And that's why when your teacher mentions that, it goes all the way back, and it's a synthetic drug. It's not a drug they grow like cocaine and the elements of certain drugs, marijuana. This is a special drug intended to change your brain, to change your behavior, and to make you a Superman. That's why the police officers have to use tasers and firearms when they come up on a meth addict, because they're stronger than the normal person, and they're not thinking like the normal person either. So don't do it for many different reasons, but at a minimum, don't do it because you want to live. You take meth for a certain part of your life and you're lucky not to die from it, you will die earlier in life than when you otherwise would have lived. Maybe some of you will live to 90 years old, 100 years old. You get addicted to that drug for 10 years of your life, expect to maybe die at 70, 65. That's what it does, because the heart is going to be damaged, as well as every other organ in your body. You need your organs in order to live, and you start damaging them, you're not going to fix it. So the idea is you need to see also your friends, by the way. If you see your friends acting weird, you need to let the principal and your teachers know, because you may be saving their life, okay? And I'm talking about boys and girls. One of the cases I had that's heartbreaking, the police officers tracked a mother and father to their home, which was in the boonies, in the ranch. And guess what they found when they followed them? They found the kids, 4 years old, 3 years old, and a 2-year-old by themselves in the ranch. And guess what I think it was 4 or 5-year-old told the police when they asked, what's that gun there for? They said to the police officer, my dad said, shoot anyone that comes to the ranch. And what's even more heartbreaking was the female police officer, the woman police officer came up, saw the 3-year-old with a can of, I think it was pork and beans, had a screwdriver, was trying to punch open the top of the can of beans. No adults, just little kids, naked. Didn't have pants on, and they were all in that ranch. Why was the kid trying to punch the hole in the court? He was hungry. That's why you need to, if you are exposed to anyone in your parents, your guardians, that may be on meth, you need to report them. Tell your principal, tell your teachers, because a lot of the kids we're seeing, they don't take baths, they haven't eaten in days. It's because the parents have checked out. They're no longer capable of taking care of their children. So that's the importance of helping your parents survive and to live. And that story I was telling you about the military couple that was took custody of the children, they took the Chamorro kids to the States because the judge says that's it. You had 1.5 years to fix your life, to get off of meth. You couldn't do it. So now the kids are adopted by the military family. And they now have a life in the United States. All 5 of them. There were 5 kids that I was representing the parents. So, okay, I'll leave it like that. Does anyone have any particular questions that I just spoke of? Just remember that, huh?
All right, let's give Attorney General more than a round of applause, everybody. All right. Again, remember, what's the message that you're going to take out from today? Be smart. Don't start. Not even once. Never. Remember, meth kills. And so you guys don't have questions for us. Again, I have questions for you guys. We're going to make this quick because I know lunchtime's coming up. So hopefully everyone was paying attention. We're going to go in the front here this time, okay? All right, you guys ready? Okay, I'm going to ask a really easy question. As the AG mentioned, how does using meth affect your body? Which organ first? You want to go first? Okay, I'll give it to you and I'll give it to you. Okay. Which organ?
Huh?
Which organ does meth affect first?
Your brain.
Her brain. Her brain or your brain? Your brain, right? Is she correct? Yes, let's give her a round of applause. Okay, go ahead, Eric. Okay, I have another one. After the brain, which one does it affect?
The heart.
She says the heart. Is she correct? Corazon, is it the heart? Yeah, she's correct. Let's give her a round of applause. Sorry, I'm going to go to the second row here. Okay, I have another question. Talking about consequences, right? Can a minor distributing or selling drugs like meth be charged as an adult? Okay.
Yes, it can.
He says, yes, you can. Is he correct? Yes, he's correct. Let's give him a round of applause. Okay. All right. So the AG mentioned, right? It affects your brain. It affects your heart. What else does it affect? Anybody here go to the dentist? What does it affect?
Your lungs.
Your lungs? Maybe your lungs, but what else? Look over there. What else does it affect?
Your teeth.
Your teeth. Is he correct? Yes, let's give him a round of applause. All right, guys. I think we're pressed for time. I know everybody wants some knickknacks, some goodies. Good news, we have some booths at the front. So you guys can actually go up to the front. Check out some of the stickers that we have. But that concludes our presentations. Let's give our team a round of applause, everybody.